A warm welcome to all the students. The current lecture is continuation of the previous lecture where we were discussing different methods of transformation of grammars. Now, the first step that we saw in the last lecture was elimination of useless symbols. The second step is elimination of null productions, which are also called as lambda productions. So before we begin, let us see what is a null production. Even before that, let us see what is nullable variable. A variable or non-terminal capital P is said to be nullable when any of the following conditions are satisfied. P gives null, or the second one, P gives Q1, Q2, Q3 up to Qn, where Q1 to Qn are all nullable. So in general, what is a nullable variable? A variable or non-terminal is called as nullable if in the production on the right hand side there is null. That means the variable can directly replace itself with null. So then I say that P is nullable. Sometimes you have say Q1, Q2, Q3 up to Qn are all non-terminals on the right hand side of P, and suppose all Q1 is nullable, Q2 is nullable, Q3 is nullable, all till Qn all are nullable, suppose, then we can say that P is also nullable. Okay, so this is the concept of nullable variable. Let's see an example. We are supposed to determine nullable variables in the following grammar, whose productions are given as A gives BCD, B gives C, D gives C, and C gives null. Okay, let's solve. Now, variable P is called as nullable if it is of type P gives null. So this is called as directly nullable. P is also called as nullable if P gives Q, R, S, and so on, and if Q, R, S, and so on all are nullable, implies P is nullable. So these are the two formulas that we are going to see. This is the first one, directly nullable, this is indirectly nullable. So these are the two formulas that we are going to see. Now looking at the first formula, you see C gives null. Okay, consider C gives null, therefore C is nullable. Okay, then now B gives C. Okay, let's consider production. B gives C. Now since C is already nullable, B is also nullable. Okay, therefore B is nullable. Right? Also consider D gives C. Since C is nullable, D is nullable. So far C is nullable, B is nullable, D is nullable, and finally A gives B, C, D. Now since B, C, and D are nullable, A is also nullable. A very simple proof. So when you see this production, C gives null, this is directly nullable. I can say that C is of the form P gives null. So that time I say P is nullable. So in this case C is nullable. Now once I know C is nullable, if you see the second production, D gives C, on the right hand side there is C, and we already know that C is nullable. So if all the elements on the right hand side are nullable, then left hand side non-terminal is also nullable. So that's why I say D is also nullable. Same is the case with B. Since on the right hand side there is only C and C is known to be nullable, B is also nullable. So at this point you get B, D and C all are nullable. When you consider this last production, B is known to be nullable, C is known to be nullable, D is known to be nullable. So all these elements on the right hand side of A production are nullable. That's why I can say A is also nullable. Okay, so these are the two direct ways of finding out the nullable variables. So this is how we find nullable variables. Next, we will see how to eliminate the null productions from the given grammar. Now, before we start, production is called as null production if it is of the type P gives none. Okay, here P is called as nullable variable and the full production is called as null production. You remember this. Okay, now null productions are eliminated using the idea that null is a string and concatenating null with any other string S results in string S. Okay, let's see the steps. First step. First, nullable variables in the given CFG are determined. So, when the grammar is given to you and you need to eliminate the null production, first thing what you need to do is you need to identify which are the nullable variables. Second, for each production with a nullable variable, one more production without the nullable variable is introduced. Okay, example. Suppose we have a production that is B gives A, C, D. And assume that we already know that C and D, these two variables, are nullable. Then, after eliminating C and D, how should we rewrite this B? Okay, now I want you all to not look at this, okay, but let me first explain you what is actually nullable. Okay, so whenever we say a variable is nullable, it means that variable has a tendency to convert itself to null. For example, if we have a production, say C gives AA or null. Now, if you consider the second part of the production, that is this part if you consider, you will say that C is nullable. That means C has an ability to convert itself to null. But when you consider the first part, C also has an ability to replace itself with A. So C can be either replaced with A or C can replace itself with null. And that's why C is called as nullable. That means C has an ability to either convert itself to some valid number, some valid string, or it can replace itself with null. So there is a tendency of either replacing itself with some valid string or replacing itself with a null string. Okay, so in general I say if I know that C is nullable, that means either C exists or C does not exist. C exists means C has a tendency to replace itself with something which is existent. Okay, that's why I have written 1 here. But C also has an ability to get exhausted, to get to convert itself with nothing or null. Okay, that is 0. That's why I say C is nullable. Now, since we have these two possibilities, okay, whenever we are going to convert the productions which are containing the nullable variables, okay, we'll have to consider the following things. Now, in this case here, okay, as I've told you, C and D is nullable. So that means variable C and variable D, okay, either C can be null or C may not be null. D can be null, D may not be null. So what are the different combinations? It can so happen that C and D both are null, or it can so happen that C is there, okay, but D is null, or C is null but D is there, and finally both C and D, they are existent. Okay, so these are the possibilities. So whenever we are going to rewrite the production that contains the nullable variables into it, whenever we are going to rewrite such productions, okay, we have to consider this combinations. Okay, so how can I write now B production can be rewritten as, okay, this B production, old B production can be now rewritten as how? C and D is nullable. So if you consider this first thing, wherein we assume that C is also null, D is also null. So in this, according to this, if C and D both are null, that means both does not exist. What will remain here? That means B can replace itself with only A. So A is one term. Okay, that's what I have written here. B gives A, assuming that both C and D are null. Okay. Next we assume that say C is not null but D is null. Okay. So when C is not null and D is null, you are going to get term AC, because D will not exist but C will exist. So you will get term here AC. So we'll have AC. Okay. So when do you get AC? The term that is B gives AC when assuming that only D is null. So that means D is non-existent whereas C is existent. Okay. So this is second possibility. Third possibility where C does not exist and D exists. C does not exist, D exists. So in this C does not exist, D exists, so the term becomes AD. Okay, so the term will become AD. So this is that production which I have written, B gives AD, assuming that only C is null and D is existent. And the last possibility here is both C and D exist. So when we assume that both C and D are valid, they have some valid value, that means they are retained. So you get the original term back, ACD. So the productions which contains the productions that contain nullable variables, they will have to be rewritten as this kind of production. Whereas suppose we have in the grammar, suppose we have productions, for example, say there was a production, say K gives null or M gives null. Such productions you will have to eliminate, you will have to remove them. And wherever K and M, these are type of nullable variables are present, in whichever production nullable variables are present, those productions will have to be written in this particular way. Similarly, suppose you have a production, for example, say P gives QR, okay, and you know that Q is nullable, R is nullable. So this ultimately the right hand side will turn nullable. So that means P is also nullable. So this kind of productions also you will have to remove from the original set of productions. Such kind of productions, directly nullable or indirectly nullable, such productions you will have to remove. And in whatever remaining productions, wherever the nullable variables exist, like here, those productions you will have to rewrite. Okay, so this is how how you can eliminate the nullable variables. Next we are going to see a problem, okay, in which the concept of how to remove the null productions will be better examined. So the very first thing that what we are going to do is we are going to analyze this set of productions. Okay, now consider B gives null and C gives null. Okay, we see that B and C are directly nullable. Okay, so since B gives null and C also gives null, therefore I can say B and C is directly nullable. Now you see the production D gives small d. Okay, there is no way the right hand side can be null, so D production is not nullable. Then you see A gives BC. Now we already have seen, okay, that B and C are nullable. So next consider the production A gives BC. Okay, since B and C are nullable, okay, A is also nullable. Okay, you can easily see that in A gives BC, we already have seen that B is nullable, C is nullable, that's why A is also nullable. Okay, now consider D gives D. D is not nullable. Why? Because on the right hand side there is a terminal D which cannot be replaced with null. Also, in the production, S gives A, B, A, C, although A, B and C are nullable. Okay. There is small a here, and as a result that cannot be replaced with null. Okay. Therefore, S is not nullable. Okay. So at the end of this, we know that production A, B and C are nullable, whereas S and D are not nullable. Okay. So whichever nullable productions which are there, we are going to remove. Okay. Therefore, after removing nullable productions, namely B gives null, C gives null and A gives BC from the final grammar respectively, from the final grammar or final set of productions. Okay. S production can be rewritten as now what happens here is S gives ABC. Now A, B and C are nullable. So A may exist, A may not exist. B may exist, B may not exist. C may exist, C may not exist. So we will see all the possibilities. So the S production that we have is S gives A, B, A, C, where A, B, C are nullable. So either A, B, C all are 0, or let's say A exists but B and C does not exist, or say only B exists, A and C does not exist, or A and B does not exist but C exists. Then A and B exists but C does not exist. A and C exist but B does not exist, and A does not exist or B and B and C exist. So these are all the possibilities, and finally last possibility is that all three exist. So these are all the possibilities. If we consider the first possibility that A, B and C all three does not exist, then what you get is only small a. So the S production, the first term of S production will be S gives A. Then here in the second one, we assume that A exists and BC does not exist. So when A exists and BC does not exist, the term can be rewritten as AA, where B and C are not written. Third, we assume that A and C does not exist but only B exists, so the term becomes here BA. Fourth, we assume that only C exists, so the term becomes AC. Fifth, we assume that A and B exists and nothing else exists, so the term becomes ABA. Sixth, A and C exist but B does not exist, so the term becomes AAC. Then we assume that A does not exist but BC exists, so you will have BAC, and finally all three terms exist, so you will get the original term back, that is ABAC. So S production can be rewritten as this. D production will remain as it is. Okay, so therefore Therefore, after lambda elimination, the required productions are first S gives A or AA or BA or AC or ABA or AAC or BAC or ABAC. So this is S production. A gives BC will be removed. Okay. So A gives BC will be removed, so we are not going to write it. Next, B gives null will be removed, B gives small b will be retained. So the next production will be B gives small b. Similarly, C gives null will be removed, C gives capital D will be retained. So you will have C gives capital D, and finally D gives small d will be retained. So D gives small d. So this is how null productions can be eliminated. Having seen how to convert or how to eliminate the null productions in the grammar, okay, the third step of transformation, it's called as elimination of unit productions. Now, what is a unit production? So the definition says a production with a single non-terminal in the right hand side is called as unit production. So now you consider this production here. On the right hand side of this A production, you will find a single non-terminal, very important, it should be a non-terminal. So whichever production on its right hand side has only one element, and that is a single non-terminal, then that production is called as a unit production. But if you see the second one here, on the right hand side of this production there is a single b, small b. However, that small b, okay, it's a terminal, and as a result this production cannot be called as a unit production, because the definition clearly says a production which is a single non-terminal only in the right hand side. Whereas here on the right hand side you have a terminal, small b is a terminal, so you cannot call this as a unit production. Okay. Also, some students might have doubt. For example, you have a production B gives say M or A B. Now, is there a unit production in this case? Yes. B gives AA. The second part of this, second term of this production, that is B gives AA, okay, this may not be a unit production, but B gives M, the first term, that is B gives M, that is a unit production. So such unit productions, okay, like this, such unit productions have to be always eliminated from the grammar. Okay, so that after null productions elimination, we search for unit productions and we try to eliminate them. So using, after going through all these processes, that is first process is elimination of useless symbols. Once useless symbols are removed, then elimination of null production, and then elimination of unit production. So these are the three steps which are used for transforming the grammars. Okay, so now let's see how unit productions can be eliminated. So the unit productions are eliminated by the following steps. 1. The set of productions P1 whose right hand side is a unit production, as left hand side are determined, the right hand side of P are changed to right hand side of P1. To make it very simple, okay, you need not read this. To make it very simple, I'll tell you what are the steps to eliminate the unit production. Now, you see this example that I've taken, okay. Now X gives Y or AB. This is a production. Okay. Now here you will find that if you see the first term X gives Y, there is a unit production involved. Why? Because Y is a single non-terminal. If you consider the second term, that is X gives AB, there is no unit production involved. Similarly, in the second production, Y production, no term, neither the first one, the second one, nor the third one, no term contains a unit production. Please note, although I have y gives small a is a terminal, it's not a non-terminal, so I cannot call this as a unit production. Whereas here x gives capital Y is a non-terminal, a single non-terminal, that's why x gives y is a unit production. Now how to eliminate the unit production? Now you have to find out, okay, what is that non-terminal that is creating a problem. Okay, in this case of mine there is a single y over here. Okay, in this case of mine there is a single y, and it is this y that is creating a problem. If this y was not there, okay, this single non-terminal y was not there, then there would not have been any unit production. So the steps that I have written here, it only tells you that after identifying that there is a unit production, what you do, you go through the set of all other productions and find out if there is any y production involved. Find out if there is any production which has on its left hand side y as a non-terminal. Now since in this case you have only two productions, okay, the second production here has y on its left hand side, so it's called as y production. Okay, so then once you identify such production which contains y on the left hand side, okay, this y which is a unit production, okay, it can be replaced with the right hand side of the y. Okay, so what I have done here, this y here was creating a problem. It was because there was a single non-terminal y here, there was a unit production. So removing of the unit production means somehow I should be able to change this term to something else which is no longer a unit production. So what I do is I find out, I go through all other productions that I have in my grammar and see whether there is a y production involved, whose left hand side element is y. So this is called as y production because left hand side non-terminal is y. And then what I do is I replace this full y production, the right hand side of it, I replace it in place of y, because y can be successfully replaced with this whole term. So what I do, in order to eliminate this single y, I replace this single y with the right hand side of y production. So you see here, y over here I have replaced it with the actual right hand side value of y production, the full part, that is a or b, a or a b c or a a. So this is how y is replaced with the right hand side of y production, and once you do that, you will no longer have the unit productions in your set of productions. Now we will see one example. Okay, you consider the following set of productions. Okay, I have just numbered them, and we need to first identify and then eliminate if there are any unit productions present. Okay, now you see the production 1. In production 1, if you observe, S gives T, it's a unit production. Similarly, in the second production, if you observe T gives F, okay, this is also a unit production. So I have to eliminate this. Now, so how do we solve? So I'll say, okay, the first unit production, or there are 2 unit productions. Okay, which are the unit productions? That is S gives T and T gives F. Okay, so first you consider, okay, you consider the first production, consider S gives T. Okay, it is eliminated. As follows. Okay, now it is this T that is creating a problem. So let's see how I can replace this T. So you see all other productions and find out if there is a T production. Yes, there is a T production. Then what you do, you try to replace the left hand side, that T, this T that is left hand side, you try to replace it with its right hand side. Okay, so it is eliminated as follows. Okay, substitute 2 in 1. We get what we get? We get S gives S plus T. The first term is as usual, but the second term which is there, okay, that is this T, will be replaced with the right hand side of this T. Can be written as T into F or F. Okay, so what I have done is I have replaced this T with the right hand side of T, and that is T into F or F. But when you notice here, by replacing T, I have also introduced another unit production. Okay, since S gives F is a unit production, we replace, okay, F with the right hand side of F production and S production becomes, okay, so when I replace, what I do is, since S gives F, I have introduced another unit production, S gives F. How this unit production has come? Because I replaced this T with this right hand side of the T, and there was another unit production. So in this S production, another unit production was encountered. So since S gives F is a unit production, we replace F with the right hand side of F production. So if you find out, there is also F production here. So we try to replace that F with the right hand side of F production, that is bracket S, close the bracket, slash A. Okay, so S production now becomes S gives S plus T, second term remains the same, T into F, whereas the third term, that is this F, okay, gets replaced with the right hand side of F. And what is right hand side of F? It is bracket S, close the bracket A. So bracket S, close the bracket, slash A. So this is actually F. Okay, so I will call this as equation 4. Okay, so this is the final S production. Next, so S production, this is that final S production. Now you consider the second production, that is but that was a unit production. Consider T gives F, because here T gives F also is giving a problem. Okay, it is eliminated. As follows. Now to eliminate in T production, T gives F, so this term was actually giving a problem. So eliminate this. What I will do in equation 2, okay, in this equation 2 I will substitute equation 3. Okay, so I will say substitute equation 3 in equation 2, we get, okay, so how we can write T production? T gives the first term, T into F, will be written as it is, or now the second term was single f. So this single f will be replaced with the right hand side of f production. So it is bracket s, close the bracket a. So this will be written as, okay, bracket s, close the bracket slash a. So this is what term? This is f term. So there is no longer any unit production present in this also. So I will just call it equation 5. Okay. Whereas the third production, that is f gives bracket s, close the bracket a. Since this does not involve any unit production, it will remain unchanged. Therefore, okay. Therefore, after elimination of unit productions, okay, the final set of productions are, which are the final set of production? First we will have equation 4, that's a final set for S production. So S gives S plus T or T into F, or bracket S, close the bracket slash A, S, close the bracket slash A. So this is one production. The second production will be T gives T into F, bracket S, close the bracket A. So T gives T into F, bracket S, close the bracket A. And F production, since it does not originally contain any unit production, it will be written as it is. F gives bracket S slash A. So this is how unit productions are eliminated from the given grammar. Thank you.